Buzz, you kind of just answered this. You've seen Wisconsin, a lot of variations over your tenure.
Mm-hmm.
What's the one thing that's or the couple things that stayed the same with them over all the years, and I guess what's kind of some of the things that have been drastically different from when you've seen them?
Well, I was asking Coach. We played them in the Maui Invitational that was in Vegas, I think the year after COVID, and Coach was the head coach then. We played them in the NCAA tournament in our third year at Virginia Tech. However many years that's been, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, or maybe it's 4. I didn't remember them running ball screen continuity, what a coach would call their offense. And I said, Coach, when did you change? Because I hadn't watched Wisconsin until preparing for the game. And he said it was after we had played them in the NCAA tournament. And I think a little bit of that change has been their pace. I think a little bit of their change is there is no Coach Ryan swing in it. I think for a while it was kind of melded together when we played in Vegas, even a little bit when we played in Buffalo. But I would say what hasn't changed is defensively, they're going to stay in front. If you set a ball screen, 2 guys are going to handle the ball screen, not all 5 guys. It's hard to get them in rotation. They're not going to leave the shooters on ball side penetration, even on weak side penetration. And then their presence at the rim. I think the other thing I would say that's changed is within their pace and within their style of offense, analytically they're shooting a higher volume of threes than what I remember in years past.
Thanks, Ben. John?
30% shooting, I think 0.818 points per possession for you guys. How much of that was, anything that they were doing, particularly on the defensive end, versus just kind of execution?
A little bit of both. I will always give credit to the opponent and their staff and their talent. Similar to what I just mentioned, it is hard to get them in rotation. I do think that if the ball is always in front of you, the level of contest is always better. We didn't get past the pack line enough to create rotation, and so we shot too many balls where they were never in rotation, and it's a good contest. And you're never going to get, if you can't break the pack line, so to say, they're not in rotation and they're not going to foul. And so years past, regardless, Coach Ryan, Coach Gard, they're not going to give the ball to the other team, and they're going to defend without fouling. And so all of that coupled with we didn't get to the rim. When we got to the rim, it wasn't quite enough. We didn't finish at the rim when we did get there, and then we didn't get fouled.
Coach, go ahead, please.
Coach, a lot of the talk with this Wisconsin team is about stopping them from making the 3 ball, and obviously you did that for a little bit early, but then as they started shooting the ball, the other thing they do really well is limit the turnovers. They didn't turn over in the first half, only 3 for the game, so you guys kind of mixed up the defenses a little bit, but once they started getting that hot shooting, how did you try to stop them, and how did they kind of avoid turning the ball over?
Yeah, I think just stereotypically entering tonight's game, they played exactly how they played tonight. In Big Ten play, I think that their turnover rate is 4th best, 3rd best in 3-point jump shot volume, I think 5th in 3-point jump shot percentage. 52% of their balls are shot from 3 and they make 36%. And they're never going to give you the ball, less than 10% of the time. But I also think the kind of subliminal thing that bleeds to that is they play with good pace and they get fouled. So they don't give you the ball and they're not going to foul you. And if you give them the ball, they're going to play extra fast. And our plan a little bit from a defensive change standpoint was can our zone potentially slow the pace? Because I think entering tonight they were 18-0 when they've scored 80 points or more. They were 2-9 when they haven't scored 80 points. So a little bit of our thinking was, can our offense help our defense? And not that I would say that we're slow or fast, but we don't need to play fast. But when you're behind, like we were at half, I thought that's where we kind of lost our plan of execution because the game gets going too fast, and now that probably tilts in their favor.
Jonathan.
Obviously, he didn't go off on you guys like how he has against some of other recent teams, but Nick Boyd, number 2, kind of how would you compare him with a lot of the other talented guards across the conference?
Yeah, obviously this is my first time through. I remember we played Florida Atlantic in Orlando. I think that was his second season there. I think he may have been hurt that particular game. Unbelievable team. I think that was the year coming off their Final Four appearance with Coach May. I knew he was fast. I knew he was left-hand dominant. His basket assist rate is incredible. I think he's in a polite word, I think he's the head of their snake. And I think his ability to get fouled with such a high assist rate, and he's good at the rim. I think 48% of his shots are at the rim, but their team is Moneyball-esque in regards to how they play, but he kind of changes that pace. He's a little bigger than I thought, a little more wiry, strong, a little more lean than the clips I had seen, the tapes and games that I'd watched. I really like his game, but I'm partial to left-handed guys. And I think he plays with a very aggressive mentality, yet he also has a very high IQ, and I think he makes the game easier for his teammates.
Okay. Hey, thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, for John, obviously I saw yourself, most of the team, celebrating after Isaac hit that. Just, what was it like, obviously, to send the seniors out with the win, but especially a moment like that for him?
For me, it felt special because last year, how I felt last year, obviously a game you're not supposed to think about, but how I felt like last year, I cried after we lost that game because like those guys gave so much to me, like Klez, Gilly, and all those guys brought so much into my life and just made me appreciate basketball, appreciate the camaraderie of what Wisconsin is. So doing it for IG and BC, Nick and Rhodey felt special today. And then seeing all his work, like IG puts in so much work too. Like he gets extra shots after practice, and he's constantly pushing himself, even though he knows he's not going to get the minutes. I see him hit that shot that he works on. Special.
Austin, obviously a lot of positives from this game, but did you happen to see Nolan back there? And I guess what would losing him for a significant amount of time mean for you and the rest of this team?
I mean, I didn't really. I got to see him a little bit. I don't really know what's happening with his injury or whatever, but he's a very important part of our team. And to see him go down is not the best, but we know he'll fight and he'll get back as soon as he can. But for us guys to step up when he did get hurt, me and AB will had some good minutes. It shows the development of the young guys coming up and showing we can do it too.
I'll follow up for John on that as well with, again, the gauge of the locker room, again, still trying to figure out exactly what the injury potentially is for Nolan. But again, as one of the leaders, the guy who's known Nolan the longest, or one of the guys who's known Nolan the longest in this locker room, what do you say to this team as you guys rally together and, just try to make sure you guys stay strong together as a unit?
Just next man up. I think we've had guys out. I've been out for a game. BC's missed a game. Aussie's missed a few games. I think we've had a next man up mentality, and just picking our brothers up, like as we're doing right now. Like JJ's out, so next man up is Hayden. I think he did a great job of picking JJ up, picking his production up. But Nolan's a fighter. If Nolan has to go to play, he's playing. Whether it's one leg or two legs, he's playing. But We're going to keep battling for Nolan how he battles for us.
Jonathan.
Braden, to hit those threes, kind of how did that feel for your last home game?
It felt great. First couple didn't go in, which I was kind of upset about, but and they didn't count on one of the halves, so I came out pretty mad. But other than that,
They didn't count that?
No, I was mad. I said I had 20, but I was mad. But those other four, they were good. Came off my hand, felt good. I've been feeling good the last couple of games, so we keep shooting it. It's gonna go in. So.
John, you sort of mentioned it too with last year's senior night loss. How much motivation does that give you and some of the other guys who were around last year? And did that maybe play a factor in you had a bit of an early burst scoring wise?
The scoring wise, no. I just thought just come out being aggressive, being myself. And I know these guys gonna feed off it, coming off the bench. So that's all I was focused on. Just come out being aggressive, playing good defense on Mills, my matchup, and that obviously affected like how I was thinking about the game. Cause that was a sour taste in our mouth. Sorry, but that was just bad, for us for losing that game at home and sending our seniors out like that.
Yeah, Michael, a question, please.
John, what have you been working through these last couple games? It seemed like you just haven't been yourself on the floor.
Yeah, I think just frustrated with myself, with the foul trouble that I was in. The last 3 games, I got into foul trouble early. So I was just frustrated with myself and getting in my head just a little bit. But these guys and my coaches helped me work through it, and just stay prayed up. I know through any situations, it's God got me, and it's God's timing through everything. Everything happens for a reason, so I'm just trusting Him through all this process.
John, you touched on it a little bit with the defensive effort, but you guys had 8 steals tonight. Just looking back from the beginning of the season, how much has the defense grown and the ability to impact the ball and turn that into points on the other end?
I think it starts with the first 5. I think we just turn it up defensively. Started with me, Rhodey, and Nick. Obviously the guards, just getting after it a little bit more, and really trying to challenge people, and taking pride of just people just not gonna score on us. I think we did a great job of that tonight. I challenged the guys at halftime. Don't let them run up more than 40. They had 45, but I think it was a great job by us. Just doing what we do best. We work on it in practice, and we get lots of stops in practice. So just putting it together for 40 minutes, we did a great job of that tonight.
Braden, back in December after a game here, you mentioned to us that regardless of how many new players were on the roster, obviously your goal is to be playing your best ball in March. Do you think that's what this group is doing now? Do you think that's what you are doing now?
Personally, I think I'm playing up there for sure myself. I think this team, we're playing good. I think we can still play better. There's obviously a lot of things we can still get better at offensively and defensively. We can clean up a lot of things. I think we're learning from the last 3 games what we're doing well and what we need to work on. And we got one more, a big one coming up Saturday that's going to test us. So I think we'll really see how good we're playing at the moment on Saturday.
Okay. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Obviously, an emotional night, an emotional day, for obvious reasons, but really, proud of my 3 seniors that played, and obviously the 4th one there at the end with my son. But I thought from a team standpoint, we did a lot of good things defensively. Took us a little bit to get clicking and making some shots offensively, but a lot of good contributions around up and down the lineup. Say Nick, I thought Blackwell looked like back into a little groove. Obviously Carrington. I thought we got good minutes out of Garlock and Kinzinger too. That was good to get some experience there for them in the second half. So, and then obviously, a proud dad moment there at the end with Isaac. So, just be very grateful for that opportunity to be able to to watch your son grow up in this gym from day one, literally, and to have that type of opportunity for me as a coach, and obviously more importantly as a dad, it's been an amazing journey, and tonight obviously was a terrific senior night. Questions?
John and Mike and Nick.
What do you know at this point about Nolan?
I think we'll know more tomorrow. Early indications, hopefully we avoided the worst. We'll see where everything with the testing and stuff goes tomorrow, and evaluation goes tomorrow. I think we'll know more, in 24 hours or so. But obviously he hasn't rolled that ankle. That's the other one that's been so. Always when you do that the first time, there's always an extra amount of pain. But we'll see. He was in decent spirits, in the locker room and stuff. So he's already doing treatment, and we'll see what we learn tomorrow, and then have a path forward to get him healed up.
Michael?
If he has to miss time in the short term, Austin's obviously worked hard to improve his all-around game. How ready do you feel like he is for a bigger role if he has to take it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, we've got a lot of guys that can step into that. We've played different lineups, we played a small ball. We did some of that tonight. I think Belowskis has gotten better. I think, again, the experience of Will is a true 5. So, we'll see where we're at tomorrow, and then just take the best path forward. But we've had other guys out at times, so hopefully this isn't an extended period of time. We'll learn. Like I said, I'll know much more probably tomorrow.
And Nick up front?
Yeah, Greg, 15 assists for your group, just 3 turnovers. Just how important was really some of that unselfishness, ball control, and obviously how did it help really on both ends tonight?
Yeah, I think, I thought we had really good looks. We started 0 for 9 from 3, and I thought for the most part, we had really good looks. And they changed some defenses. They were man, and then they were switching some things, and then zone, and then switched out of the zone within the possession. So it just took us a little bit to feel it out a little bit. And I think once we got into a rhythm, we adjusted some lineups, went a little smaller just to spread them even more. And then we got some better rhythm in the back half of that, or back end of the first half. And then I thought we got, we continued that as we rolled through the second half. But defensively, I thought we were really good. They didn't get much easy for the most part. A couple over the top threes, but by and large, I thought we really wanted to keep Mills and Adams from dribble penetration and getting to our rim. And for the most part, I thought we did a really good job of that.
Ben?
Greg, obviously maturity has a lot to do with John Blackwell kind of fighting through slumps, but what else is in his toolbox to be able to kind of fight through some of the offensive struggles that he's had this year?
Well, I think there's other ways he can always, and we've talked about this a lot, there's other ways you can impact the game that don't involve scoring. So, whether it's defensively, he got the assignment on Mills tonight, he had Diallo as the assignment out in Washington. So that challenge in itself that's impacting winning when you get that type of an assignment and have to control the other team's lead ball handler. On the rebounding job that he has done, I thought he was right out of the gate. I could tell with how he attacked off the dribble. He was aggressive. He was quick. He had some pop to him. I know he was under the weather a little bit coming back from the Washington trip and missed a day of practice, but I thought he was he looked fresh tonight, and he looked, in a better place. And obviously he got off to a good start. I think that also those defensive assignments really, we've challenged him with those, and he's responded in a pretty good way.
All right, up front, John.
Obviously another really good game for DC. Kind of what's been especially going right from him, well, aside from hitting from pretty much anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, he just, he's comfortable in the flow. I mean, he's aggressive. He got to the rim. I thought he did a really good job defensively. We had to really keep track of Saunders. He got loose on us a few times, so all the switching that gets involved to try to shut that off. So that component, but obviously once he gets a couple to go in, then he's gonna heat check a couple maybe. but you know, his teammates do a good job of finding him. Rhodey found him in transition, kind of flipping behind him in the first half, down in front of their bench, and teammates know to look for him, you know, and to find him. And he also has the confidence that he missed the first couple, you know, and I gave him a little run, then brought him out, and then put him back in, and he was, you know, you still got to have that confidence to keep shooting, keep letting it fly.
Jim.
This is off topic a little bit. Sarah Tanjay got season tickets this year. How meaningful is that to you that John had such a great year here, and she must have had fun too, that she decided to stick with you guys for another year?
Yeah, I mean, she's obviously based here in Madison now with her church and stuff. It's, you know, I think it speaks to obviously the culture of the program, the experience that John and her had here and their family. I think it speaks to how welcoming Madison has been to her, and they had such a great experience that she wanted to continue to hang on to that as John's changed coast now from the Jazz to the Celtics, but you know, she's a great person. She's funny. She's very direct. I don't know if I've heard a clergy person swear as much as her, but you know, she's a really good person. You can see why John turned out how he is, and I think, like I said, they just appreciated the experience, and it was bigger. It became bigger than basketball for them, and we tried to emphasize that. We tried to show that, and I think that's a great testament to the experience. That it was so good. She wanted to live here, and so good she wanted to buy season tickets. I mean, that's a great testament to our program and the people here, and it's a great testament to, obviously, she recognized she's a pretty straight shooter, and she can see through BS, and she really liked what she saw here and wants to continue to be a part of it.
Greg, especially this time of year, you know, you guys go on that 8-0 run after that first time out, after some back and forth to start out the game. What does it say about your team to flip the switch that quickly again around this time of year?
Yeah, I think we've gotten better at handling adversity and playing through missed shots, better at playing to the next possession when something doesn't go well. Early in the year, I didn't think we responded and reacted the right way. In terms of when we get down, we went down further. You know, it was just a mental thing that we had to grow through. And they've done a really good job. I've said many times, they turn the page on things better than their head coach does at times. You know, I have a tendency to stew on things, and they do, whether it's a game or whether it's a possession or a flurry of possessions. You know, it's been and that's where the experience comes in of a Carrington, of a Boyd, of a Rhodey. Obviously, you got, you know, Blackwell, Winter, those guys in that lineup that have seen a lot of basketball, so they understand. There's going to be ebbs and flows. You're not going to play perfect. It's a long game, it's a long season, keep moving on to next and keep getting better, and they've answered the challenges that we put down as we came through that November, December, when we were a little discombobulated and, you know, kind of Jekyll and Hyde. They've responded and grown, and that's a credit to them.
Let's do a final question right here.
Nick Boyd seems like a player that's going to miss playing in front of a home crowd. I guess, like, in terms of players that you've coached in your career, like, where does he rank among players that are able to command that energy from the fan base?
Well, he's the player that has the most officials coming over talking to me to tell him to calm down and not talk to the other bench so much. And I tried to explain to the official in Washington that, hey, you understand the transient nature. There's a lot of crossover with these guys. They all know each other. There was an assistant over there that he played for with, I mean, there's so much zigzagging back and forth. So I tried to get that official just to understand reality a little bit. But no, the best ones are extremely competitive and have a burning fire, and he wears his heart on his sleeve. Obviously, he's very emotional and loves playing to the crowd. We've kind of nicknamed him among the staff the entertainer. But you know, another guy that really, really appreciates. We had our senior recognition last night for their families and stuff upstairs in the Nicholas Johnson, and when we were leaving the stage, I was following him. He turned to me and he goes, "Coach, I've never been a part of, I've never seen anything like this where fans and supporters and people get together and really celebrate and support a team like this." And, you know, he's been at 3 places and he's watched other senior nights. And, you know, I think it just, again, it's a testament to the culture and, you know, it's a really attractive place, you know, and for more than just basketball. Basketball's a big, big piece of it, but you get so much more. And I think we've done a terrific job with our staff. Has been outstanding in terms of bridging all the things that have always made Wisconsin successful and special, and then taking that and continue to move that forward as the landscape of college athletics has changed. And the real ones recognize that, and Nick's a real one. He's going to be, if he wants to coach, he's going to be a hell of a coach someday, because he's intense, he's into it, he's sharp. Like I said, and the best ones that I've had always have an internal, they're very intrinsically motivated, and his motor burns pretty hot every day. And you just how you see him in the game, it's how he is in practice. So, other ones? I can take some more.
Question here.
I got nowhere to go.
You know, your son.
He's already taken off with his girlfriend.
You were mentioning the special night with Isaac. Is there one, you know, is it the pregame ceremony? Is it, you know, the hug? Is he checked out? Is there one moment from this night that's especially stick out to you 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, you couldn't have scripted the end there with him making the 3. And, you know, that's a testament. Again, I go back just talking about the culture and the teammates that he has. The possession before it, they called a special for him. That didn't come from the bench. Jack Robinson he called one of ours, and he was making sure everybody knew where they needed to go and when the free throw was being shot on the other end. So it's obviously the teammates think enough of him that they want to get him a crack at it here in the last couple minutes. And then obviously it speaks obviously to Isaac and his character, but it also really resonates to his teammates, that there's that type of connection and bond. But that's unique. Today was a hard day. I mean, the BTN, the Journey's doing a thing on him and us, and we had to spend some time this afternoon on the court by ourselves and mic'd up in cameras, and that was hard. That was hard. It was, you know, I walked my oldest daughter down the aisle in September, and that was an emotional. This hit the same level. This was bittersweet. I mean, right? It's an awesome experience, but he literally grew up in this gym. Before he could walk, he sat in the car seat during practice, and he started crying. Bo would yell at me to get him to quiet down on there. And then as soon as he could walk, man, he's running around with the ball. He knows every player from 2003. He was born, so shortly after that, he knew the roster before he knew the alphabet. So he's lived it. He's grown up right in this, and it's very rare that you get this opportunity sitting in my seat in this position to have had your son grow up in this program, and then to have the opportunity to have him here on the team and just everything. It's been, like I said, it's a once in a lifetime experience. I knew that when I decided to put him on as a walk-on, and he's done phenomenal. I mean, he's himself a really good player, and again, it speaks to as you've heard me call him a culture keeper. I mean, you need those type of people that really are invested in the program, and happy for him, proud of him, happy for our family. Our oldest flew back from Croatia for this week. She's obviously married and living over there, but yeah, they all stand out. It goes fast. It goes fast. I tell my assistants all the time, enjoy them, because before you blink, they'll be out of college, they'll be getting married. It's a special time. Tonight was a special night. Anything else? All good? Going once, going twice? All right. Oh, you got another one, John.
Yes.
All right.
Well, since we're not talking to you before Purdue, how do you feel like that?
Well, they won by 2 or 4, right? What do I feel about what?
How do you feel like that can kind of test you guys with where you are
They're good. They're good. Mackey Arena's a hard place to play. Really good point guard. I don't know if you've heard of him, Braden Smith. Pretty good. Good front line, good players, terrific coach, established program. And you you look at the last. You've heard me talk about the three programs in Michigan State, Purdue, Wisconsin that have stayed consistent, and Matt does a terrific job. And it'll be their senior day. We'll have to chase the lawyer and not let him. Hopefully, don't let him shoot too many threes. So we'll start getting ready for that tomorrow. All right. Thank you.
Thanks.